Welcome back to another video. My name is Henrik and today we're going to be doing a range test with the updated Volkswagen Passat with the B9 variant. We have the TDI motor in here, so a 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel engine with 150 horsepower, and we're going to see how far we can get on this tank with 66 liters. We're going to do 3 or 4 trips actually, each 88 kilometers, 100 kilometers behind a truck, or 100 kilometers an hour behind a truck, which is going to average down to around 80-85 kilometers an hour, 120, 140, and then also top speed, which this car can do 223 claimed. We'll see what we can get, and also look at everything at the end, how much it's going to cost us per 100 kilometers, how much theoretical range we can get when driving at those speeds, what the fuel consumption is, and everything else that you need to know. So make sure to stay tuned, and if you like this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe. That would mean a lot. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy. So let's now take the car onto 120 kilometers an hour test to see what consumption we get if we drive at 120 on average. You might notice there was not really any video on the 80 or the 100 kilometers an hour test. That's because we were filming 2 cars today, so the Ioniq 6 and also this new Passat, and my cameraman was driving the other car, and he was making a separate video, so I couldn't film the 80 kilometers an hour test or the 100 kilometers an hour test, but we did get a very good consumption on that, which we'll see at the end of the video. Let's now talk a little bit about the interior and stuff like that. One thing I love with the new B9 variant is that they now change the steering wheel back to non-touch sensitive controls. So they actually have controls on here which are physical buttons, and that is just an amazing thing. You also get heated and also massage function here, which is nice. The massage function is actually one of the best ones I've had in any car. Definitely up there because it is very firm and very intense, which I really like. We do also have a heads-up display on here, but one thing that is very funny, that's why I also can't set up cruise control right now, is because we've gotten about 5 different warnings on this car, as you can see right up there. Cruise control doesn't work, side assist doesn't work, dynamic light doesn't work. There's a lot of things that are not working. So I can't use cruise control, and it doesn't also know what the speed sign is here. Yeah, so it's kind of hard for me to do all of this perfectly, so I'm currently having to adjust manually with my pedal the amount of input that I have to drive 120, and I have to steer the whole time, which is a little bit unfortunate. Maybe Volkswagen changed something about that. There was an update, and ever since the over-the-air update came, it hasn't worked since then. You start up the car, you get 5 messages that say, oops, this is not working, this is not working. It's like a BMW now. Otherwise, the interior, because we do have the R-Line in here, looks a little bit more sporty. We get a little bit more touches on the seats, for instance. They are kind of like a bucket seat-ish, because they do also have that inlet on the top. They're very comfortable, and with the massage function, very nice over long journeys. Wind noise has also been reduced quite a lot in here, because they now you have 2 or double glassed in the front and also on the side. Therefore, the wind noise have reduced a lot. Wind is fairly big today, so there's a lot of wind actually out there. Otherwise, we have a very massive infotainment display now, which is very nice. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all wirelessly. You can have inductive loading. You can charge your car. You can charge up your phone. Everything that you need. You also have the Harman Kardon sound system in here, so a lot of extra stuff. But let's now drive this car a little bit and see what consumption we get until the end. And the time has come to go full blast on the Autobahn. For that, we're going to, as usual, put it into sport mode, and also, well, it does automatically switch into the S gearbox. And then we're also going to reset our tripometer, and then we're going to hit full throttle. Top speed of this is 223, so quite good. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with the 150 horsepower, so you're not going to get the most amount of punch here. So 170 now, 180, so it does take a little bit to get up to that speed, but usually you're not going to be driving this fast. But I gotta say, Passat drivers are always very fast on the Autobahn, because they're probably trying to get into or getting to their destination as fast as possible so they can reach their clients. 205 now. Wind noise is actually not that loud. You You can definitely tell that this is a double isolation window in the front, because the wind noise doesn't affect the noise in here too much. It's actually quite comfortable. And the suspension already does a fairly good job. We do have the updated DCC in here, so it does feel fairly comfortable in here as well, which is very nice and very stable. And there's not much input I need to be doing on my steering wheel. And now we have reached our top speed of 225 tachometer. Let's see how fast we can go. 226, 227. So it did take a long time, so that was a very long journey. 228, 229, 230, 231, 232, okay, 233, 234. So 234 we were able to reach, and then there's a guy overtaking on the left side now. But wind noise is really nice. There's also not much tire noise, and very comfortable. It feels very safe to drive at these speeds, which is nice. Consumption, however, right now is at 14.5 liters, which also isn't that high, to be fair, for driving 223 kilometers an hour. But then there's just really no punch. When you're at 190, obviously you don't need a punch when you're at 190, but it would be nice. But do you need it? No, not really. This is really comfortable driving on the Autobahn, especially at higher speeds right now. One thing we just turned on is the electronic speech increasement, volume increasement. You might hear like this echo in there, and if I speak louder, this is so weird, because it basically, I don't know, it's like you're speaking into a tunnel and then instantly get the echo back, and it just sounds so weird. I don't know why you'd even why is that an option? Why do you need this? What is this? But that is really weird, so, but also cool in some weird way. But I never turn it on because it gives me a headache. Hearing my voice double as an echo, I don't know. And now this is where the engine really shines. For the 100 kilometers an hour test behind the truck, we had an average consumption of 3.1 liters, which is insane. The average speed there was 81 kilometers an hour, and it took us a total of 67 minutes, or 1 hour and 7 minutes. The total range we would theoretically get if you were to use every single liter of those 66 liters of fuel tank, you'd get a range of 2,129 kilometers, which is just ridiculous. With the current diesel price of filming of €1.68, you would be spending €5.10 per 100 kilometers. For the 120 kilometers an hour test, we had 4.5 liters of consumption with an average speed of 114 kilometers an hour, and it took us a total of 46 minutes. And that was a big lightning strike right there. The 120 kilometers an hour range was theoretically 1,467 kilometers with an average price of €7.56 per 100 kilometers. The 140 kilometers an hour test had an average consumption of 5.5 liters with an average speed of 125 kilometers an hour. The total time there was 43 minutes and a theoretical range of 1,200 kilometers, which is still insane. And that would cost you €9.24 per 100 kilometers. And the top speed 8.8 liters on the 88 kilometers an hour test, or 88 kilometers test. The average speed there was 148, which is really fast, and the total time was 36 minutes. The total range you'd get there is still 750 kilometers. However, you'd be spending €14.78, so almost triple of that what you would be spending behind the truck. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. There's a lot of time that takes to make these videos, basically 500 kilometers or 400 kilometers of driving and then editing, so I really appreciate all the support you guys are giving me on these videos so I can produce more of those in the future. Hopefully you did enjoy, and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.